Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise, a Canadian. I'm very happy. She is a Toronto transplant. I'm going to find out exactly where she's from. And she kind of reminds me of a mixture of Adele and Nora Jones. I don't know. When you hear her music, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. It's gorgeous. Please welcome Brittany Clarke. Hello.
Hello!
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am great. Okay, so Toronto transplant. Where are you originally from?
Well, when I wrote Toronto transplant, I mean a Toronto like I'm from Toronto, but I live in New York now.
Ah,
So I'm from Rossensville's West End village of Toronto, and I grew up, born and raised, and I left there when I was 24 to come to New York.
okay. How old are
Yeah.
you right now?
I'm 27.
Okay, wow. You do not look 27 at all. I figured like 18, 19.
That's right.
Yes, very wow, God. Okay. Well, now that we know how old you are, which I still don't believe. But anyway, so now you're living in New York, which most people don't understand that it's basically across a bridge from Toronto, kind of, sorta.
It's really not that far. It's an hour flight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very close.
Yeah.
Um, you can go across the bridge I think it's by Niagara Falls, I believe, and then all of a sudden you're in the United States, which is awesome. Um, Now let's talk about your singing and writing because it's absolutely phenomenal. When did you start, Brittany? When did you decide this is what I'm going to do?
Ooh, I sort of got on that horse and then fell off of it, and then came back on. So when I started singing, I was very young, and I took lessons, and I was in choir, and I did all the town shows, whatever was presented to me. I put my hand right up, and I knew people would ask me when I was 7 or 8, and they asked, "What do you want to be?" And I said, "I want to be a singer. I want to be a singer." My parents just sort of rolled their eyes. They're like, "Okay, she'll grow out of it." And then, come high school, I went into enrolled in an arts high school called Etobicoke School of the Arts, and I majored in musical theater, and that was like 4 years of intensive after school performances, and you sing 3 hours a day, and there was lots of auditions and all these things, and I just sort of got a distaste for it, the competitiveness and the favoritism, and it really just kind of shaded it dark for me. And when I graduated, I decided, thinking that that was a representation of the industry, that I didn't want to do it anymore. So I graduated. I took a year off. I went to culinary school. I was a chef for 6 years, and I did that and loved it. But I was still in the back of my mind gnawing, thinking about music. So I continued to write, and it started to pick up momentum. And then one day I just decided to quit my job, and with the incentive of my boyfriend moving here, me kind of being on a fence, I decided I was going to move to New York and give it full-time go, because if it's not now, then I'll never do it. And so I haven't looked back since, and it's been really good. City's been good to me. So,
Awesome. Good. I'm
yeah.
glad you did because I can't imagine you doing anything else. Although cooking is wonderful too.
I love. I still bake, and I cherish it, but this is more primary for me.
That's your passion.
Yeah.
Now, you've been selected to participate with ASCAP in the Harry Chapin songwriting
Mm.
workshop this year, which is a huge honor. Like, Harry Chapin, I love. Like, his storytelling for his songs are unbelievable.
He's such a lyricist. It's incredible. He's and to have gotten selected, out of no entire U.S. I couldn't believe it. So it was incredible.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah, it was 12 people, and we all got to workshop our songs with different A&R reps, and got incredible feedback. Split up halfway through, co-wrote a song with in pairs, presented it to the final panel, and one song got selected to win win the workshop. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but it was an incredible experience. I met
Yeah.
so many amazing writers, and yeah, I feel really lucky.
Awesome. No kidding. That is a, excuse me, that's a huge honor. Now, also, you are a contributing member to New York Songwriters Collective. What exactly is that?
So that's put on by an amazing songwriter by the name of Peter Bliss, and he's worked with Barbra Streisand and a lot of other writers who written for Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys, more of like the late 80s, early 90s pop billboard. And he has sort of hunkered down in New York City, and I think it's been going on for over 15 years now. Don't quote me on that, but it's been a while. And it's just a collective where songwriters can get together um, in studio and at venues and workshop and perform their songs and network. And I joined just almost a year ago now and have since met my music licensor. I've met other songwriters, other producers. And it was just, I knew that I needed to kind of get into the community more. And it's been a real like open door for me. And Peter's awesome. And it's just a great like family, of support and advice.
Yeah, that would
So
be amazing. Barbra
yeah.
Streisand. Wow. Now, you're performing kind of back and forth, Toronto, New York. You're co-writing regularly, and you're building your own diverse catalog of hit songs. And it's spanning all genres. I like that you're not putting yourself in a box. You do folk, blues, neo soul, and R&B, and you can hear the R&B in
Mm-hmm.
your songs. Like you can really hear it. I absolutely love it. And you've released your new debut EP called Slowly,
Yes.
and it's getting rave reviews, which isn't surprising because, like I said, your voice is amazing. Um, Now, you've been on, let's talk about all the shows you've been on and where you've been because it's amazing. You've been on the Bobby Simmons Show,
Yes.
Party 101.9 XM Radio,
Yes.
950 Lounge with Kevin Pryor, Digital High Blog, and Lucky Buzzard Radio.
Yeah.
That's crazy. um,
Great, but it's yeah.
it's great that you are. Now, the number 2 track on your EP, Slowly, is
Yeah.
Dance With Me.
Yeah.
And it was selected for the Best New Indie Artist Album by music blog New Indie Daily and
Mhm.
picked as Artist of the Month by the boutique networking platform Music Hideout.
Mhm.
So it's doing really well for you.
Yeah. I'm trying to put on. Artists nowadays, I feel like have to wear many different hats, and you have to be your own manager and your own publicist. And so I've been working really hard to be a strong advocate for my music, and I think that shows in that list you just reiterated. And I feel so lucky because I feel there's a special dynamic in New York City where if you really go out and you introduce yourself and you're confident in what you're bringing, people will respond and they'll want to help you. And that really is how I've gotten those accolades and those opportunities. Was I put myself out there and people approached me and they wanted to help me. And that's how I got on the Bobby Simmons show, was through a show I did at the Shrine, like back in February last year. Someone approached me and they said they wanted new talent for the show. And, it's just, I'm constantly doing that. And I feel like that's how you kind of get your music out, and how, because no one's gonna do it for you. I mean, they'll help you, but you got to really be your own backer and your own manager. So I'm still working on that, and I got a few plays on a few other radio stations recently with a new single I dropped. So I'm just kind of keeping on putting those different hats, taking them off.
Yeah, well, you have to,
Mm-hmm.
especially in indie music. Now, you're going to be releasing singles like every now and then throughout the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the first of the releases is entitled Reprieve Acoustic Sessions. And
Yes.
it's available on iTunes and Spotify.
Yeah.
And beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I can't get enough of your voice. I mean, when I first heard Nora Jones, I mean, wow. Come Away With Me just blew me. Like, it was one of my favorite songs for so long.
Love that song.
And as soon as I'm going to tell you what song, as soon as I played Reprieve, I could hear it. Like, it just pulled me in. And I was like, oh my God, like, wow, this lady is talented. Um, and I'm absolutely honored that you came on my show. Now, I love what you do in your off time because I'm a Canadian and I camp like all the time, any chance I can get. There,
Yeah,
nothing like putting a tent up out in the middle of nowhere.
absolutely. And getting away from it all, and you immediately like feel like you're long, like you can breathe deeper, and you really like peel off all the layers and can just be yourself without your phone ringing and honking horns outside. I live right in like the corner of three intersections in Manhattan, and so it's like sometimes I just have to put in earplugs. But anyway, that's what camping really does for me. Is it's you get back to your roots, and yeah, camping in Canada is the best.
Yeah, well, and the stars and the northern lights, like, oh my God. Anyway, it is a lot of fun. And of course, you're always baking, which I'm sure your other half is very happy about.
Yeah, we'll see if he fits into his suit for a wedding upcoming soon. We'll see.
When is that happening?
It's his cousin's wedding.
Oh,
Yeah, but he bought a new fancy suit, and I don't know how he'll fit, but we'll see.
that is too funny. Okay. Now, because you talked about the many different hats you have to wear in order to get your music out there and how hard you have to work, what advice, Brittany, would you give somebody that's just starting out, brand new?
Hmm. Ooh. I've heard this quite a bit in circles of people who are new to the city, and I'm no veteran, but they'll say, "Oh, I'm just kind of waiting for things to get ready for my music to really get ready before I put myself out there." And honestly, what I say to people who have that excuse is that it's fear based, and I think you can only start to evolve when you have people who are holding you accountable for your evolution. When you have people that you don't necessarily know and they give you feedback, like just going to an open mic. And I think it's so important to push yourself even when you don't feel ready, because most of the time when you're scared, it means you should do it. So I usually go by the mantra that if I'm scared of it, it's probably a good thing, and I should just do it.
Wow.
And don't jump off. Don't do something stupid and have an accident. But when it comes to your own mind and your emotions, I think it's important to recognize that and use it to push you, to push somebody, push yourself.
Wow.
So.
That is great advice. You're so wise for being 27 years old. Like, wow. And what great advice. And that's the only time I've ever heard anybody give that advice. So,
Oh.
yeah, and it's true. I mean, if you think if you're scared of it, it's probably a good thing. I remember the first time I ever did this show, I was terrified.
Exactly. And you've grown, and I'm sure. And it's just so important to challenge yourself. That's the only way to progress.
Definitely. And it's so funny you said you lived on the corner of three intersections. I've heard a horn and sirens. That must be crazy. No wonder you go camping.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay, so what two songs are we going to hear from you?
You're gonna hear my newest single, "Reprieve," and it's an acoustic session, which is actually from my EP. It's the same song, but it's just done acoustically, and it's actually my first production execution by myself, and that's featuring my friend and guitarist Michael White. And then the second song you're going to hear is actually an unreleased track, so that's a sneak peek for everyone listening, which I wrote with Mike Irish, who was actually another participant in the ASCAP workshop. So he's a producer, and he has his own studio in Greenpoint in Brooklyn, and he and I put our heads together and came up with that one. So you'll hopefully I'll release it soon, and everyone can enjoy it at home. So. And
it's called Dirty.
It's called Dirty.
Yes, yeah. And it's awesome. I love it. And I'm glad I get to premiere it on my show. That's amazing. And everybody's going to hear it tonight because this will be up on my website. And They're going to love it and they're going to love you. And thank you so much for like you just blow me away. I could talk to you forever. And like I said, your wisdom is just amazing for being 27 years old. And thank God you have it because you need it in this business. So
You do.
I wish you the best success. And when you're winning all those awards, just, say hi, Allie.
Of course.
And you know what I can see you doing is the same as Nora Jones, starting out at a music awards show with just a spotlight and a guitar and doing Reprieve. And it would blow everybody away, just saying. Because, yeah, you're that talented. Now, you can buy Brittany's music anywhere online, as well as her, I can't even talk, website, BrittanyClarkeSings.com. It will be on my website. You just have to click on it, and you can go and find out all kinds of neat things about Brittany and listen to more of her songs. And you're absolutely gorgeous, and I am, like, blown away with your talent. So I'm proud that you are kind of Canadian. And thank you so much. You are Canadian. You were born here. But thank you so much for coming on my show, Brittany. I totally appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Allie. It was a pleasure.
And keep checking my website because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers.